Well, it's Mike from Dimensional Walking. Today I want to talk about the latest UFO speculation surrounding the Buga Sphere. Okay, so if you haven't heard this one or seen the video, it's pretty cool. On March 2nd, 2025, a spherical object was spotted flying over a place in Colombia called Buga, okay, before landing in the area. So it was flying and then it landed and then somebody picked it up and they have it, right? The object now referred to as the Buga Sphere has drawn this amazing global attention due to its unusual characteristics and speculation surrounding its origins. So, some of the latest investigations have sparked this intense speculation about the possible extraterrestrial origins. So the witnesses reported seeing the sphere zigzagging erratically in the sky before landing. The movement patterns that defied any type of conventional aircraft behavior. The object itself is kind of has this seamless metallic structure, three-layered composition, and these nine microspheres that are inside. And they took this thing apart, and the scientists are able to analyze it and look at it. So again, some of the researchers now are starting to question whether this is a alien probe or some type of advanced technology. Okay, maybe from Earth itself, somebody on Earth, but definitely the alien thing is in the mix. Okay, it definitely is, and if you look at it, you'll see that is very possible. So there's this guy named Jose Luis. Uh, let's see, it's Velasky. Anyways, he's a researcher. He's been studying this sphere, and he said because it has lacks these welds or these joints, suggests that it's non-human. But then there's this other doctor. Her name is she's from the University of San Diego, and her name is Julia Mossbridge, and she claims that she's quite skeptical. She believes it seems to be man-made and could be an art project rather than a object of alien technology. Now, I'm not going to laugh at that, but it seems pretty sophisticated to be an art project. Okay. Well, Mossbridge has urged caution, advising that the object should undergo rigorous scientific testing before being classified as a UFO. However, the intricate symbols carved on the sphere have fueled these theories of maybe some type of coded extraterrestrial message, I guess. So we'll go over maybe a little bit more of the physical characteristics. So again, it appears that there's no visible welds or joints, which usually would make it considered a man-made object. Okay, um, so it consists of these three concentric metal-like layers. Okay, and then there's these microspheres with inside the interior. Okay, some reports have suggested Spear has these uh, symbols on the outside, which it does, and you can see it. I mean, it's in the thumbnail here that I presented. But there's many other pictures about it, more intricate pictures, maybe different views, etc. And obviously, it has some mysterious symbols, but just having mysterious symbols on the outside to me doesn't mean all that much, because there's all kinds of mysterious symbols and all kinds of things in caves, on the pyramids, things that were found at Roswell. Supposedly, there's weird symbols on it too. So I'm not saying that the Roswell thing is a fake or a hoax, but there's symbols everywhere, and that doesn't make it any more official. So again, the witnesses described this thing flying erratically and making turns and quick movements, etc., which obviously would throw out the possibility of either regular aircraft or even drones. Drones do not act the same way, and I've seen plenty of drones, okay, and that were just regular drones, and they really don't have those type of abilities to move in those ways. At least I haven't seen any yet. So, anyways, but the thing about it is, it isn't a drone because we also know we have the object itself, and so we're looking at it. We got it in our hands. So, anyways, and it did crash. Obviously, they saw it up there. The thing came down and crashed, and they got it. So now there has been some similar objects or orbs, spheres, etc., similar to the Buga one. Okay, and let me just give you a couple examples. There's one called the Betz sphere, and this was named after the family that found it, and it was in 1974 in Florida. And so it's a metallic sphere again. And this one was a little different because it was emitting these sounds. Okay, it was like it was strange sounds that were coming from it, and it had these unusual magnetic properties to go with it. Uh, Scientists examined it, but could not determine its origin, leading to speculation, of course, that it was extraterrestrial. I don't think there was anything conclusive about what they did or whatever happened to it in the end. But anyways, inconclusive, I guess, but interesting. And then there was this other one that was in 1957 again, but this was in Brazil, and this is it's the Ubatuba uh, uh, fragments from some type of an object, and this was in Brazil. And this was people claim that this was a UFO that was flying, and it blew up, and leaving behind these metallic uh, fragments. So the fragments, after being analyzed, showed this extremely high pure magnesium, which is not found, supposedly is not found in nature at all. Um, and it's kind of an unusual material to use for anything, um, because it doesn't have really great properties for endurance or hardness or anything else. But anyways, this is what they found at the site. And some of the researchers did suggest that it could be some type of alien material, but skeptics do argue that it might be manufactured, difficult to manufacture, but possibly to be manufactured on Earth. But they don't really understand why they would use this type of material for creating some kind of a hoaxy UFO thing. So then there's another one. These actually these are more just orbs of light, the Hessendale lights in Norway, which is still ongoing. You can actually go there. A friend of mine went there and saw some of these lights. It's pretty cool, she said. Some scientists believe they could be plasma phenomena that others speculate they may be extraterrestrial probes. And they're spheres, they're orbs, similar to this, but in this particular case, they're not able to actually hold one of them in their hands like they do with the other ones I give you examples of. So, anyways, so let's talk a little bit about scientific investigation UFO research. So there is, of course, there's this kind of famous, and I've talked about this one before, the Galileo project in Harvard, which is dedicated to, looking at UAPs uh, and using a scientific method approach. So the team there has collected these physical evidence rather than relying on speculation. And they've been doing some pretty interesting work there. So keep your eye on that one, the Galileo Project from Harvard. So there is another group now that's kind of come on the scene the last couple of years, pretty strong. It's called the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies. I think it's a really important organization, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they find out going forward. So this is a research organization dedicated to the scientific investigation of identified aerial phenomena. It consists of scientists form of military personnel, law enforcement officials, and other professionals who seek evidence-based answers to questions surrounding UFOs, UAPs, whatever. So this group, which is SCU, focuses rigid uh, analysis of UAP-related data, aiming to separate scientific facts from speculation. The organization conducts independent research, publishes peer-reviewed papers and studies, collaborates with experts across various disciplines to better understand the anomalous aerial phenomena. Their goal is to provide credible data insights into nature and the origin of UAPs. So, they're working with apparently this Buga Buga Sphere to determine whether it is truly anonymous or simply a misidentified homemade artifact. So since the sphere was since this particular sphere was found in Colombia, questions have arisen how international cooperation could handle such discoveries. And we're going back to Dr. Mossbridge, who was pretty skeptical of the whole thing. She did emphasize that the importance of trying to bring objects like the Buga sphere to scientific groups for proper analysis. She suggests that experts could determine whether it is clearly a non-human object. So I don't think her mind is completely closed, but she's really pushing to have a professional group do a rigid or a rigorous type investigation. So, in conclusion, while the Buga sphere has ignited UFO speculation, scientists remain divided on its origins. Some believe it could be extraterrestrials, while others argue it may be a creative art project. Okay. Regardless, the discovery highlights the ongoing mystery surrounding unidentified aerial phenomena and need for scientific investigation before drawing conclusions. I absolutely agree. So my question to you is, what do you think about this? Do you think the Buga, what you know and what I've told you, and maybe the videos and other information you've heard, do you think the Buga is a real UFO, or is it just a creative art project? Let me know. Happy trails until we meet again. We'll see ya. Bye bye.